LIP 2022, The Power of Perspective, Casting the Lens on Constructive Solutions. As read by the Journalism Honours Class of 2022 at Stellenbosch University.
Reframing the News Constructively, The Necessity of a New Narrative by William Brederode and Karla van der Merwe. News globally nowadays has become excessively problem-focused, with the apparent good intentions of allowing readers to keep those in power accountable and respond to societal issues. It becomes counterproductive, however, when the news media as a whole has its focus on what is going wrong, rather than providing readers with news on progress and potential solutions. This is according to Sean Wood, the Chief Executive Officer of Positive News magazine, a publication committed to good journalism about good things, according to their official website. Excessive negativity can lead to people feeling overwhelmed, powerless, apathetic, as well as feeling compassion fatigue, said Wood. So a wider slice of the truth is needed. Not just reporting the problem, but positive responses to it too. If it bleeds, it leads. A slant towards the negative affects not only readers, but also the coverage of news, according to a 2019 study by Stuart Soraka, Patrick Fournier, and Lilach Neer. The importance of negativity biases for news is relatively clear. Negativity biases affect news selection and thus also news production, as well as citizens' attitudes about current affairs, wrote Soraka, Fournier, and Neer in their article. When news coverage on South African current affairs is primarily negative, it creates the perception that nothing is happening in terms of progress in the country, according to Stuart Pennington, the CEO of South Africa, The Good News, which is an independent apolitical organization that aims to source and publish positive news about South Africa. When people know what the facts are, they begin to see the world differently, said Pennington. Carissa Drury, head of content at Ginkgo Agency, which created the beautiful news publication, added that although it is not practical to shy away from negative news or pretend that it does not exist, she can understand why people may want to switch off the news entirely when considering the stress and anxiety it can cause. She added, however, that people also gravitate towards negative news. If it bleeds, it leads type of sensationalist reporting is so effective because of our inherent negative bias, said Drury. Humans are hardwired to look for threats to our survival, so alarming negative headlines grab our attention. News and media brands want our attention because that supports their business models. So, the news ends up focusing on the worst of what's happening, said Wood. He further explained that readers are realizing the harmful impact it has on them, which leads to them choosing to reduce their news consumption and find positive alternatives. I think more mindful news consumption is a growing element, among others, of how people are looking to manage their well-being, said Wood. Our shield against despair. Drury describes the work of Beautiful News as aiming to show their audience that people are inherently made for goodness. Our motto is reframing our world, and so many of our stories are a reframing of something negative, said Drury. She continued to explain that while one feel-good story in a sea of bad news will not change people's perspective, if they are consistently shown a world of positivity, they will start to believe that positive change is possible and that they can be a part of it. Research done on the Positive News magazine's audience indicated that their stories improve people's mood, help them become aware of progress that is happening and possibilities for change, and help them to feel that their own actions matter and can make a difference, according to Wood. Showcasing the best in us. Publications typically publish spoof or joke articles on April Fool's Day, but this year News 24 had other plans. The largest news publisher in the country turned the 1st of April into Good News Day by asking every journalist at the company to write a story about those people who keep South Africa together. This is according to Adriaan Passon, editor-in-chief at News 24. As a team, we just said, how do we do something that just highlights the good in South Africa? Because there's still an enormous amount of good people doing good projects, keeping things together, feeding their communities, and educating the poor, making sure the wheels are turning, said Boson. While News 24's usual news coverage includes stories on topics such as corruption and crime, which are important to cover to protect those affected by wrongdoing, Boson explained that newsworthiness is much broader than that. For something to be newsworthy doesn't mean it has to be about something gruesome or depressing, said Boson, who added that writing from a different perspective challenged the notion that if it bleeds, it leads. Boson said that while it is important for News 24 to continue writing critically, discussions are ongoing to try and infuse the normal day news agenda with stories about the people who keep this country going and keep it ticking and the wheels greased. Wood echoed this sentiment and explained that occasionally taking on a more positive focus is not about sugarcoating anything or ignoring negative facts, but rather acknowledging the newsworthiness of stories that prioritize progress and solutions. It's simply about combining journalistic skills with a solution-focused mindset and seeking out those positive angles so that the facts can be reported in a way that empowers people instead of potentially having a negative impact on their well-being and worldview.
You can read the full text of LIP 2022, The Power of Perspective, on www.multimedia.org.